Yes, this is Mr. Controversy, and this is the infamous three-point conversion station. Keep it locked.
The 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
Good morning, everybody. What another beautiful Saturday morning. It's another great day outside, even though it's raining.
Yeah, it's gonna be a rainy weekend, man. Very rainy.
Yeah,
weekend.
everything, but it's cool. I mean, it's still sports to be watched. I mean, we have the conference finals, the Eastern Conference Finals. Can LeBron get back? And well, LeBron and Cleveland. It might as well be LeBron. Get back to winning ways. We still have baseball, have the NHL playoffs. I mean, if you love MLS soccer, it's just a lot to get to. So you can chill at home, watch sports. If you're in Atlanta and somewhere else, it might be sunny. But either or, you've entered inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. And I am your host, Mr. Controversy. Did you miss me? And of course, as you heard, you see I'm not doing this by myself. Got my main man, my road dog, the one and only D Intellectual. What up?
Yes, you know it. Like you said, man, it's a cloudy Saturday. It's supposed to be messed up for the next week or so. But it is what it is. There's still plenty of sports going on.
Yeah.
Especially tonight. We got the game. Been waiting for it.
Right. And then, you know, where I'm from, we played in snow, rain, sleet.
All that.
Yeah.
Snow football was some of the best football.
That was the best football. Right. You know what I'm saying? So, but whatever your vice is, you could be able to dive into that this weekend if you're in Atlanta. But, man, we have a great show lined up for you today. We are talking about some topics that should get you going. Oh, before I keep going, let me say what up to my man G. What up, G?
Hey. What up, G?
Yo. So, we're talking NBA Conference Finals, of course, and we have a special guest coming on, which he's not really a guest, but
almost family.
I know he's family. Correspondent Joel Cortez is coming on to talk NBA Conference Finals and also the NBA draft and coaches and whatever. Then we're going to talk who makes who? Is it the coach? A great coach makes a great player, or is it the great player that makes a great coach? We're going to dive into that.
We want y'all to call in on that too, man. We want to know y'all opinion.
And then we're going to talk MLB. We're talking about Robinson Cano. Is that going to hurt his legacy or not? And then, of course, we're going to talk some NFL football, man. You know, it's always NFL time. And we're going to talk about which team is ready to step up. So it's time to get to these quick hits.
Let's go.
Let's get it. Shout out to Sharon Beats for the music. And yes, we have some, I guess it's not breaking news, but breaking news. Shout out to Devin. So how about the New York Times came out and said that the Atlanta United basically galvanized Atlanta as a sports city. They made Atlanta relevant when it comes to sport. What do you think about that, man?
It's crazy that it has to go that far. You got to think that in the last 20 years, the Falcons been to the Super Bowl twice. So how can, this new MLS team, like you said, galvanize or make Atlanta sports? Do I agree that you wouldn't put Atlanta on a top tier 1 or, even a tier 2 as far as sports regarding, as far as, a Chicago Bulls or LA or New England Patriots? Maybe not. But you can't say that they galvanized or made Atlanta as a sports city.
Right.
I can't agree with that. You're speaking of Dominique Wilkins. You're speaking of Deion Sanders. You're talking about the Atlanta Braves. You know how dominant the Atlanta Braves were.
But you know what? Honestly, as a sports city, Atlanta's not a sports city. I'm sorry.
And
I wonder if they meant that, or they could have been being shady. But I always said Atlanta's not a sports city. It's not.
It's not known for it.
It's not known for it. And then you think about it, like you said, Atlanta United right now. If the Falcons or the Hawks or even the Braves had a fan base like the two-year-old Atlanta United,
right? Because we've been to all the games, right? All of them. We've been to Hawks game, we've been to Braves games, we've been to Falcons games, we've been to the United games.
Yeah.
There's no game like a United game.
Right. So
fans, that Mercedes-Benz Stadium is crazy.
And then
when it's a United
and the
game.
funny thing is, then we'll move on. Even when the Falcons are winning, yet still Pittsburgh Steelers are filling up the stadium. Chicago Bears are filling up the stadium. The Green Bay Packers are filling up the stadium.
A friend of mine went to a United games, and she's not been to any other games.
See, that's what I'm saying. But moving on, the Phoenix Suns general manager Ryan McDonough is open to trading the first overall pick for the right return. Quickly,
stop the shenanigans.
Do you think they should
stop the shenanigans? What? So they're in the process of a rebuild, right? You got to rebuild. So
why not get two? But why not get two picks? For what? 2 first-round picks?
No, but he was more so saying he's willing to trade it for an all-star caliber veteran player.
Can I get to stop it? If you sure that's what he said?
Yes. Like that's like no. What's that gonna do? That's gonna do nothing.
We might have, but not even that. He's not gonna get a star. I mean, Atlanta's probably better off getting an all-star than. And Atlanta never gets all-stars.
Right, but what I'm saying, so you trade him for, and I'm not saying you're going to trade him for this player, but let's say you trade him for Jimmy, right? You trade him for Jimmy. Okay, now what?
Right. I don't know. Moving on. Shout out to J.J. Watt. He's always trying to make the world a better place. He said he would pay for the funerals of the 10 people who were killed in the Santa Fe High School shooting on yesterday in downtown Houston, man. Big ups to him. Sad play, but
very
big
sad situation.
Big ups to JJ. Moving on, Julio Jones is expected not to be at OTAs. Is that a big deal? I know he wants his contract. Those are just, should everybody just calm down?
I think you gotta always look at things like that because when the player holds away from the OTAs, we know a lot of it be voluntary situations, but. He wants some money.
And they should, yeah.
They need to pay him. Open up the bank.
That's it. Just pay him.
And on the flip side, Odell says he's coming, right?
Right. So, I think Odell's happy because they got a running back. So, moving on. Shout out to the Vegas Golden Knights, the expansion team. And NHL hockey, yes, we're talking NHL hockey. We cover it also.
You got it all.
The Knights are 1 game away from advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals after defeating the Winnipeg Jets 3-2. It's crazy, man, the fact that, just quickly, that they were expansion team, man, in Vegas, of all places.
Shout out to Vegas.
And now you're hearing reports that people are saying they should be a Canadian team. Stop it. Come on, man. Let them have it.
Right. Shout out to Vegas. It's one of them things where, when it's a expansion teams that come, right, they got to pick from, like, the players that teams don't want, right? And these players weren't supposed to be good. This wasn't supposed to happen. Guess what? You get and it's going to go into what we were talking about, what our hot topic is. Owners, players, coaches. All that has to go together.
Yeah. And then the good thing is, you wonder now, the Las Vegas has to be excited about the Raiders coming. Because if they're playing like this,
now you got to look at them possibly getting an NBA team.
Right.
And now with the sports betting opening up,
that could lead to a lot.
The game.
Yep. Last but not least, we got to cut it short. So Katina Powell, this is the lady that who she was claimed to have provided women to have, sex with Louisville recruits. With the scandal with what's her name, Rick Pitino.
Pitino.
And so she's involved in all of that, right? Well, she was arrested for an unrelated incident. Basically, she was stealing checks from a victim and cashing them at different banks. But anyways, after she was,
cracking card, cashing them checks.
Right. So after she was getting her steal on, she got arrested, right? And her mugshot, she had a Louisville shirt on.
You said getting her steal on.
Caught that. But how
ironic is that?
Like,
yeah.
Louisville has to be upset. Yeah. Go ahead, G.
She's still supporting the team, man.
literally in every aspect.
Yes. That can't be right. Oh, you know what? We're gonna do one more. The New York Mets center fielder Juan Lagares suffered a complete tear of the plantar plate of the big toe, making the catch in Wednesday night's game. This will cause him to miss the rest of the season. Wow, he was hitting .333 for the season.
That's
the Mets.
That much of a thing. I mean, I guess definitely when you're talking baseball,
right?
Because you got to plant to to swing. You have to do all of that for.
It's good. Go ahead.
You got to do all of that when you're swinging, especially playing center field. You got to be able to move around. You got to be able to do what you need to do. So that's going to be a big, huge loss for them.
And Atlanta
batting .333.
And why the fans of Atlanta Braves are smiling right now.
Sure
anyway, we're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
Hello, I'm Gary Walker, and this is your sports news break. The Braves suffered a 2-0 loss to the Miami Marlins on last night. The Braves only managed to get 4 hits in the game. The Eastern Conference Finals get back underway as the Cleveland Cavaliers host the Boston Celtics tonight at 8:30 p.m. Eastern. The Celtics lead the series 2-0. The expansion Vegas Golden Knights are one win away from advancing to the Stanley Cup Finals as they took on a 3-1 lead after defeating the Winnipeg Jets 3-2 on Friday night. The Atlanta United are looking to get back to their winning ways at home as they host the New York Red Bulls. Greg Guzan will host and return to action after serving his 1-game suspension. Make sure to follow the 3-point conversion for all of your major sports news and updates. It's where fans' opinions matter.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Okay, so where do more Americans turn first in the morning to start their day? Go on, tell them, Robin.
Good morning, America.
George.
Good morning, America.
Lara.
Good morning, America.
So, take it from Robin.
Put some good in your morning.
With ABC's Good Morning America.
Hey, what's up, everyone? It's your girl, Kelsey Nicole Nelson, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Stay tuned. Gonna be a great show.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Your man, Mr. Controversy, here with The Intellectual.
Yes.
And, yeah, this song be kind of grooving right here. Anyway, this next segment is brought to you by our sponsor, Cindy Cuts Barbershop, which is located in 3000 Chapel Hill Road, Suite 206, Douglasville, Georgia. Make sure y'all check them out, man. The barbershop of all barbershops. doing it big, great haircuts, great sports talk, whatever other talk you can. You ain't got to worry about somebody snitching on you because y'all been talking about. You know how we do. We go to the barbershop and we talk. You know what I'm saying? That's our time to kick it. But man, great for children to come in, get mentored. Like I said, it's a great place to be, man. Seneca's Barbershop. Make sure y'all check them out. And shout out to Dwayne Chambers, a.k.a. at Simha the Barber. Catch him on Instagram at SIMHATHEBARBER. And shout out to Frank, man, the master barber there, man. Frank, I'm going to get you in one day, Frank. You know what I'm talking about, baby. But anyway, so a hot topic today, we're talking about, like I mentioned earlier, the great coaches. Do they make the players great, or do the great players make the coach? D, what you got on that?
Yeah. Let's talk about it. I'm ready to talk about it. I think it's a combination of everything. I think it definitely starts with the coach, but you got to have, great players. A lot of people sit back and say, well, Popovich, one of the greatest coaches that's been in the NBA. He said, well, he makes it happen with or without, right?
Mm-hmm.
With or without who? Tim Duncan, David Robinson, Tony Parker, Manu Ginobili. You're not talking about like players that are average players. We're talking about all-stars,
Right.
Hall of Famers. David Robinson, Hall of Fame. Tim Duncan, Hall of Fame. Tony Parker, you can make an argument for. Manu Ginobili, you can make an argument for. You know what I mean? So, where does it go? We always speak of Phil Jackson, the moves he made. Doug Collins was with the Bulls before Phil Jackson, and they were losing. They were a great team. So the roster didn't change much. There was a few things here or there. But after that first year where they still lost to Detroit, following year they came back and won with Phil. You can look to who was I thinking of? You can look to when he went to L.A., when Phil went to L.A. L.A. was a 60-win team, 55-win team. They were a good team. They were handling their business. Then Phil came and they did what? They won. So it's a combination. It's not just, in my opinion, it's not just the coach and the players. It's the ownership. It's the GM. Like everything has to work together and like with the Warriors, right? You see how everybody's on the same page, whether it's the ownership,
right,
to the GM, to the coach, to the players. They're always on the same level. Every once in a while, you hear KD saying he didn't agree with Kerr on the way they came out. But for the most part, they're on the same level.
Right.
You know what I mean? The discourse that Bulls ownership had with Tom Thibodeau down to the players. Do you know what that does for an organization? Like, for you to go to the NBA Finals, win the NBA, everything has to be working in synchronization.
No,
and
I understand that. You're right about that because, like, an organization has to be, like you said, hitting on all cylinders. But for the players, to say that the players make the coach or vice versa, it depends. I think it depends on the situation because I want to ask, do you think Tom Brady, would he have been great if he would have been in New York with another coach? Would Belichick, and with Belichick, at least with Belichick, we saw Belichick in Cleveland. He was building towards being
future.
And the thing is, Belichick got his philosophy, most of his philosophy from Bill Parcells.
Right.
So, I mean, is it that? Or, I mean, for instance, somebody mentioned Spoelstra.
I think they made each other.
Who?
Brady and Belichick.
No, because Belichick was there already with.
Belichick already had a reputation as a defensive coordinator.
And he turned Cleveland around.
And with Cleveland, but even like with him being the defensive coordinator with the Giants, working with Bill Parcells, he had already gotten that reputation as a coach who can devise something, who can get the most out of his players, or when he had talented players, being able to put them in the right positions. I mean, he did coach Lawrence Taylor, but he already had that reputation before he even got Brady.
So if Brady doesn't go there, it happens regardless. But what happens to Brady, in you guys' opinion?
It depends on where he plays. If you say New York, if it's the Jets, then we may not hear from Tom Brady ever.
Because you know what? I think that sometimes with coaches, they know how to put that player in the best position. When you have great coaches.
Position. Right.
I wanted to add, Damian just trying to, he said, Belichick went 11-5 without Brady. His quarterback was Matt Castle.
Right. See?
Right. That's a fact.
So
that's a fact.
Good point.
Good point,
Damian. And then look at this. You look at how with who was it? Who was I about to say? It was not the Jets, but golly, when you said it, you made me forget my thought.
No, it wasn't the Jets though.
No, it wasn't the Jets, but so with Bill Belichick, with Brady, I'm saying, do you think that if Brady played with any other team, you know what I'm saying, with him knowing Brady's tendencies or whatever, that's what I'm saying, like knowing your players. Like, for instance, I even go back to basketball. Go back to Allen Iverson, and you look at how when Larry Brown was there. Larry Brown molded Iverson to be basically, we knew he had talent. It's a lot of players in the league, whether it's football, baseball, basketball, hockey, whatever sport, they have talent. But Larry Brown molded him, even when Iverson
to trust his team
didn't want that. And then he pulled away from it at times.
Because he'll even say now, to this day, that the mistakes he made with Larry Brown being coach, he was his best coach ever, favorite coach. You know, he wish he was more mature at the time.
Right. So I'm just saying it might be more of the coaches. But then again, like I said with Miami, look at Spoelstra.
Right.
And Spoelstra's a good coach.
I think he's so underrated.
He's very underrated.
Very underrated.
But still, if it wasn't for LeBron, would you consider him a very good? I'm not saying he's a great coach, but would you consider him? Or if he stayed there in Miami and Spoelstra, they won 4 or 5, would he be in the category of great coaches? Because he's a good coach.
I think it would always be held against him that he had those 3.
Well, I think it would boost his reputation, because it's hard for a team to go into play deep into June 4, 5, 6 years in a row. Like, we're looking at LeBron, like, this is an amazing achievement of potentially 8 straight years in the finals.
Right.
That's a lot of games. Even though it's 8 seasons, that's adding the playoff games, that's like 11 seasons.
Right. And even with that being said, what I will give him credit for is, even after everybody left, they are still a playoff team, a hard team. Like, when they played in this first round, we expected them to have a hard fought series. So
right.
he gonna have his defense together. I mean, you can arguably say they're one all-star away from being in the Eastern Conference Finals every year.
Yep. So I mean, I just think sometimes, I think more so the coaches make the player more so than the players make the coaches. We're gonna go to the lines. We have a caller wants to give their 3 cents. Go ahead.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? It's LA.
What up, LA?
Man?
Hey, I just want to get my 3 cents in. Of course, love the show. My 3 cents in on the greatest coach or greatest player. I feel like that in most cases, it's always about the coach, because the coach brings out the talent in these players, whether they already have it or whether they have untapped potential that they don't know about. Now, there are instances, but like there's an exception to every rule where there is a great player there, like a LeBron James, and he can play around any type of coach, whether it was Paul Silas, David Blatt. I mean, all these different coaches, especially with Cleveland, that I've been talking about all week, LeBron has been able to play with that coach. But as you've seen, it didn't get him a ring at first. So therefore he had to leave, and then therefore, getting around other people and stuff, Spoelstra and them was able to put those great players in place in order to get a ring. But that's why you keep seeing how people get mad at the Cleveland franchise because they're like, dude, get a coach for him so that you're wasting his prime years. That's what you keep hearing. They're wasting his prime years because they don't have a good coach. So that's my 3 cents.
Appreciate that. Yeah, you got a point.
Yeah, that's definitely a fact.
We got another caller. Okay, I guess they hung up. So I'm with LA. I know what he's saying, and I mean, we all want that great coach. You know, I don't think how many times we've seen, like I said, LeBron has carried LeBron Wade and Buss, let's be real. All three of them carried him there. But now, okay, let me ask this then quickly. So what about Magic Johnson? Magic Johnson was great, and LA won without Pat Riley. But when Pat Riley got there, that's when they took off.
Well, that was a great team, but but look at their run when they had Magic Johnson, 9 finals appearances over a 12-year span. That you got to have coaching to at least to even have the opportunity to go playing deep into June year after year. And
it goes into the Philly situation, right? The Brett Brown situation. And that's why, you know, after the loss, some people were saying, will they be looking for another coach and things like that. Could you imagine a Brad Stevens with the same talent that he was able to that Philly had, like, this year?
Right.
You know what I mean? Because I just don't think that the game plan, the plays, it just wasn't enough for just that team. You know what I mean?
But you know what though? The fact that with not Brett Brown, but Brad Stevens, he was the same way when he first started with Boston. He was a good coach. Like we saw Brett Brown, Philly was doing good things, but with Brad Stevens, that first year, they only got to the first round, even though they weren't supposed to make it. But I'm just saying, I think it's too soon to say Brett Brown is this
definitely.
or that.
And as a coach, you learn and you get better.
Right.
Whether it's like you were saying, Belichick in Cleveland learning and Brett Brown learning now. The Knicks coach that just Dave Fizdale. He just got hired. They asked him something about the Mark Gasol situation. And he was like, I was a young coach. I was still learning. Mark Jackson says all the time, I was at my first job. I was still learning. So I think it's a combination of them also getting better, just like the players learn and get better too.
Right.
That's why I think it's just a combination of both.
I just, like I said, it's a great debate, great topic, man. But we're going to take a quick break, and we're going to be right back.
Point guard for the Atlanta Dream, and I listen to Mr. Controversy on the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
What it is, what it ain't, this your boy Sherm, host of Face the Music. Join me every Wednesday night for Power Hour, where we intersect the worlds of sports and music, and we do it the best way we can, which is on a Sherm beat. So if you're ready to come through, catch some realness, vibe to some dope sounds, tune in to Face the Music every Wednesday on the 3-Point Conversion station. Let's get it.
What's up? This is Anthony Hamilton, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Mr. Controversy here with the intellectual.
Yes.
already get into a heated debate. That's how we do in the sports lounge.
That's what we do.
How it's supposed to be. So, it's time to talk about some NBA playoffs, NBA period. There was a lot going on this week in the NBA, man. I mean, we had coaches getting hired. We had the, I guess we found out who's going to pick number one, pick number two. And then, of course, like I said, we had the playoffs, man. We had some drama in Boston with Game 2. There's a lot going on. Definitely. And, of course, we have to bring in family, and we have to bring in Mr. Joe Cortez, the three-point conversion NBA correspondent. What's going on, Joe?
Hey, guys. Thanks for having me. And don't forget, Karl Anthony Towns supposedly wants out of Minnesota.
Oh.
Yeah, I was going to get into that. You opened the door.
Yeah,
what do you think about that? Because that was when I saw that last night. I was like, "Wow, what did you think about
Tibbs'
that?"
First year, first year,
second year.
Ooh.
Well, I think this starts and stops with Tom Thibodeau, unfortunately, who came in as their first-year coach and really laid down some things. He brings in Jimmy Butler with him. He gets rid of Zach LaVine, who is one of Wiggins and Karl Anthony Towns' buddies. He was very clearly deferring to his former Bulls players in crunch time situations. You had Taj Gibson out on the floor a lot. And I think that in and of itself maybe rubbed some people the wrong way. There was rumors that Andrew Wiggins didn't like being bumped down to third on the totem pole and really just standing around as a catch-and-shoot player. Thibodeau drove his starters as hard in Minnesota as he did in Chicago, and so the bench was never developed. You constantly saw guys gassed at the end of fourth quarters, and they lost games that way. I don't think anybody minded Jimmy Butler being there necessarily, although he stepped in and just demanded to be the alpha guy right away, which probably didn't make Towns happy. And I think what really broke the camel's back, though, was when the Timberwolves brought in Derrick Rose near the end of the season. A guy who had bounced out of Cleveland. He had basically quit on that team. And then it wouldn't have been so bad to just bring him onto the roster, though they probably should have waited till training camp this next year and made him earn a spot. But not only did he come in, he was handed minutes immediately, which cut into Tyus Jones's minutes, and Jones was arguably their best point guard all year. He had played Jeff Teague, who Tom Thibodeau had brought in getting Ricky Rubio out the door, who was a fan favorite, and Ricky Rubio went on to have a career year in Utah. So there's been all of these different things, and the one common denominator, honestly, is Tom Thibodeau and that kind of stubborn demeanor that he's had.
It was funny. I got to talk to when Minnesota came in town, and I covered a game, and I was talking to Taj Gibson, and we joked. Even Jimmy Butler joked. We joked about Tibbs getting Derrick Rose before they got Derrick Rose. And this was, matter of fact, the same day that Joakim Noah had just got, basically the Knicks let him go, or they were thinking about buying out his contract or whatever. So, and Taj was saying that he laughed and joked to me. He said, yeah, Tibbs is trying to turn this into a Bulls team, a Western Conference Bulls team. And we laughed about it. And he said, I can see Derrick Rose coming here. And sure enough, that happens. And like you said, it's is Tibbs, is he really that bad? Like, I know he wasn't getting along with Gar Farmar in Chicago, but I thought it was more so of Gar. We didn't like Gar in Chicago. Do you think it's just Tibbs?
I think Tibbs, for all of the good things that he brings to the table, that stubbornness is well earned. And the fact that you see his defense still set up as if it's 10 years ago, and it was a groundbreaking defense back at that time where they could load up on the strong side and they would dare people to shoot over them. The problem is that most teams can shoot over them. And so the Wolves' defense, it wasn't just a personnel issue, it was scheme issue. And you talk about the rotations and driving guys into the ground. I think Thibodeau made a huge mistake in thinking that he could just bring in Jimmy Butler and make him the alpha guy when Karl Anthony Towns had been drafted number one, and this was supposed to be his team. So there was a clear pecking order in place with LaVine and Wiggins directly behind him. They kind of knew their spots. I think the Wolves were worried that Levine might eventually tire of that sort of thing, and that's why they were willing to get rid of him, because they didn't want him to go all Stephon Marbury. Minnesota's had that happen before and get disgruntled. But I think it's been the idea that these Bulls players are helpful. Don't get me wrong. Gibson has been super helpful. Jimmy Butler has been great in that role for this year until his body broke down again because Tom Thibodeau rode him too hard. And even Derrick Rose did some decent things in the playoffs. The problem is those guys have been brought in and just handed their minutes without really earning it when you've had these guys in Minnesota who, for the last couple of years under Thibodeau, have been told to earn something and then seen it taken away.
Absolutely. I definitely agree with that. And it seems like a reoccurrence with just Jimmy and Tibbs together. And it's almost as like they have to follow each other, not have to follow each other, or will follow each other for them to be, whoever they are or what they are. Like Jimmy's headstrong, just like Tibbs is headstrong.
Yeah, it's a lot, man. So let's get into the draft.
That was deep.
That was deep. So after seeing that the Phoenix Suns, they have the number one, and then McDonough, the general manager, said he's open to a trade. Who do you see going number one? And then, because we're based out of Atlanta, who do you see going, what would be the best fit for the Atlanta Hawks at number 3?
Well, you're talking to a guy who, in all honesty, I follow the NBA so much that college is something I get around to once the playoffs are done. That said, I kind of know the names a little bit. Atlanta is in a different spot than Sacramento ahead of them or Phoenix, because Atlanta really is a clean slate. Even with Dennis Schroeder at the point guard position, and even though they've got a couple of wing players that they're a little bit excited about, any of those guys, if Doncic falls to them at number 3, or if any of the other, top guys, whether it's Porter or Ayton, or if they like Trae Young, they can take any of those guys and feel good about that. Whereas if you look at Phoenix, they're not going to take a shooting guard when they've got Devin Booker. They may not take a wing at all when they have Josh Jackson on the wing. So barring moving guys, you're looking at Phoenix not necessarily drafting for need, but knowing that it's going to be up front or it's going to be at the point guard position. Sacramento, there's a little bit less there, but I would be highly surprised if they draft a point guard when they just took De'Aaron Fox, and despite him being injured a little bit, he played very well for them all year. So Sacramento has some additional open spots than what Phoenix does, and I think that's why you hear the Suns talking about potentially trading that pick, because you do have good wings and good point guards to choose from this year. You've also got a big in Ayton, but they're going to search kind of their options because I think they like Booker and Jackson that much.
Absolutely. Now with the coaching hiring of Budenholzer, how much does this upgrade the Milwaukee Bucks?
I think it's a big upgrade because we don't have to bash Jason Kidd for everything he did in Milwaukee or even when he was in Brooklyn. Kidd's strengths were the fact that he thinks outside the box when it comes to lineups. He would get really crazy with inverting his offense. He was almost ahead of his time doing that a couple of years ahead of what Philadelphia was doing. He saw that Antetokounmpo could play at that point guard position, that point forward, something that LeBron had done, but really few other people before him. And now you see Philly following up with Ben Simmons. He put a lot of long players on the floor. I think he taught those guys how to be hungry, but Kidd was never a good tactician. You saw that with his offenses. They would bog down into isolation far too easy. There'd only be one action at a time running on the floor. Defensively, when you look at the personnel Milwaukee had, there was no way they should have been middle of the pack every year or worse. And the biggest problem with Kidd's teams were that they were inconsistent. They would look like world beaters on some nights, and then others just get run out of the gym when there was no reason for it. So Budenholzer is a guy who comes out of the Spurs system, but we saw that with veteran, ready-to-win players in Atlanta, he did a great job. He's been renowned as a tactician and a teacher, and I just think it's kind of that next level of head coach, which is exactly what the Bucks need. They have the pieces in place now. They just need somebody who can look at what they have and meld the offense and defense around those guys rather than vice versa.
Yes, and once again, we're here live with Mr. Joel Cortez, a three-point conversion NBA correspondent. You can also follow him on Twitter at @BBallJoel. So going to the Eastern Conference Finals, just plain and simple, what do the Celtics need to do to steal Game 3?
They just need to keep hitting Cleveland right in the mouth. I mean, over and over and over again, it's been about hustle plays, and it's been about the fact that LeBron can't be everywhere at once, and LeBron isn't going to hustle his butt off every single play of a game because he can't anymore. That is one of the places where he's beginning to erode, is that he does need to take plays off. He's been the first to say that. So Boston being so young and having energy at every single position, it's just about winning those 50-50 balls. It's about winning the rebounding battle again, about pressuring ball handlers and getting them out of their comfort zone and really staying on a string defensively. It's not that these guys are just young athletes. It's that they're playing incredibly smart, incredibly disciplined basketball on the defensive end, talking their way through it. It's a testament to the fact that Al Horford is a consummate pro and communicator. But Jaylen Brown, I mean, that kid is a brainiac. He was in college. Jason Tatum is very cerebral as well. Marcus Smart just flies all over the court, and you've got Terry Rozier then willing to take those big shots. So, you know, a long time ago, the Celtics were surprising everybody. We're past the surprise point. We're going, these guys know their roles. Everybody is playing together, and it's just more of the same, knowing that you're probably going to have another 40-point triple-double LeBron game coming at you.
Mm.
Now, if there's one player that the Houston Rockets need to focus on stopping, who would it be on the Warriors team? Who do you think it would be?
I think you continue trying to take Steph Curry out as they have. Keep him off rhythm. Steph is always still going to draw the double teams. He's going to draw the defense way, way out there because you don't want him getting hot. But I think there's that admittance that there's no way to stop Kevin Durant offensively. You can throw as many of your good wings, whether it's Ariza or Tucker or Mbah a Moute at him, and you got to keep doing that, but he's still going to get his points. So just make him work, make sure he gets 35, not 50 points on a given night, and keep Steph off balance. Then you're daring Clay to get hot and have one of those quarters to be a little more aggressive, putting it on the deck than he's been, and you're going to let Draymond Green keep taking wide open three-pointers. I know he makes a lot of those, but you live and die with him doing that.
All right. There you have it, my man, Mr. Joel Cortez. Once again, you can follow him on Twitter at bballjoel. And we appreciate you for coming on, sir, giving us that knowledge. Great segment. And, of course, you know we're going to have to ask you to come back soon.
Looking forward to it, guys. Thanks for having me.
No problem. Thank you. We're going to take a quick break, and we will be right back.
What's going on, everybody? It's Mike Patton, a.k.a. The General. And on my Saturday mornings, I got my feet kicked up, chilling, listening to my boys, The Intellectual and Mr. Controversy, ripping in the lounge.
There's a lot going on in the world, and your world is always changing. That's why it's important to stay connected. The latest news, the latest entertainment, the newest music. If it's in the air or on the air, it can be in the palm of your hand, wherever you are, with the iHeartRadio app. iHeartRadio. Over 1,500 live radio stations from across the country, and over 15 million songs to create your own custom stations. Text IHR to 45495 to download the app or listen at iHeartRadio.com. Standard text and data rates apply.
You're back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge with Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Having a good time, like always, talking sports, getting deep into things. And so, we had some breaking news. Johnny Football Manziel has just signed with a team called the Hamilton Tiger Cats. Man, I don't know if that's a Pee Wee League or what.
The CFL.
Yeah, I know it's a CFL team, but
congratulations,
but
they've had his rights for like the last 3 years.
So why is it all of a sudden now he just playing?
He realizing that he's not getting a chance in the NFL, so he's gonna go play in the CFL,
which is smart because they want to see what he can do.
It is.
If he could turn heads, I mean, Warren Moon was 55 when he came in the NFL.
He was like 72.
Yeah. So I mean, why not?
It is never too late. You know, I mean, what he's been out, you could play quarterback position till you're 40.
Right.
It's not about money with him. His family is, set up. So, I mean, go there for a year or two. When did Flutie come to the NFL? He was, 92?
He was
drafted.
Originally,
but
like Bears,
86.
right?
Yeah, but that Joe came in with 2008.
So he played for the Patriots.
He came in 1998 or something like that.
And then he came back in like 98.
Yeah.
How you get drafted?
How long is that's like?
It's like 12 years.
How you get drafted in
10 years? At least 10 years.
Who's still playing?
And then he came in and balled out.
Right. Most of the people that he was
took him to the playoffs and everything.
Most of the people he was drafted with wasn't even playing no more.
Flutie Flakes. But anyway,
wow.
This next segment is brought to you by Sucker Free LLC. Make sure you live your truth for the world to see because everyone can be sucker free. Purchase your apparel today exclusively at facebook.com. Sucker Free, SUCKAFREE, Life LLC. All right, so the segment is What's on My Mind, and boy, I'm about to step on some toes right here. I'm about to tell the truth and shame the devil.
Go ahead, that's what we get down.
Y'all might not like it.
That's how we get down in here.
And not the fact that y'all just hear it. I got to get down with this. It's on my mind right here. So, let me get in that mode. All right. I almost want to freestyle for a second. But anyway, so look. So if y'all haven't been paying attention, the 49ers linebacker, Reuben Foster, has been under a lot of scrutiny, with everything. And, right now he's battling a court case, I think, with the, I think it's marijuana. And, in trouble. It's something dealing with illegal drugs, but I think it's marijuana. But, yes, it's horrible. But then, he was in this situation with this young lady, which was reported he hit her in the head about 4 or 5 times on top of the head and, basically beat her down. Well, they went to court and it came out that she lied. So, I'm going to tell you another story, and I mentioned it before in the show, but just in case you want to listen, I'm going to talk about this also. So, Brandon Marshall, he's been in trouble for domestic violence a few times. And it was a particular time after, he was in Miami. This is before he came to Chicago Bears. He was trying to do right. And him and his wife was at a club. And something broke off. It was a fight or whatever. And so, Brandon's wife dipped. Well, a report came out that Brandon's wife had struck this young lady and hit her. Brandon denied it, of course. It was looming. Chicago Bears, a lot of teams that won him. Miami was trying to get rid of him. But Chicago Bears investigated. But it came out that the lady lied herself. All right. Before that, Brandon Marshall had got in trouble and I think was suspended because of domestic violence against a young lady. And then maybe 3 or 4 years later, this young lady wrote a letter to the commissioner, to the Miami Dolphins, and I forgot who else, maybe Brandon Marshall, and she apologized for lying because she stated that her uncles put her up to it to get money because they knew they would be able to get money from it. So she lied about being hit and battered and all of that by Brandon Marshall. So we got to find a way. I don't know how, because already, first of all, it's horrible to hear about a young lady getting beat by a grown man. That's horrible. By a man, period. You know, that's what I teach my son. You know what I'm saying? You don't put your hand on a woman. But we hear all of these cases, and every time you hear it, you cringe because it's like, man, it's horrible. But when you start hearing things like these women are trying to get money, they're not really trying to get him to go to jail, but more so trying to settle out of court. And then if you notice, when they take him to court, you have a few instances where the women dropped the case. Why? Because they was taken to court. So I don't know how we can figure this out, but we got to find a way for us to figure out who's lying or not, or how they're doing this, especially with the NFL. And then the NFL is so quick on sports teams, are so quick to make a ruling when nothing has came out of the situation. But yet still, it comes out later on, oh, she lied, especially when he took her to case. Took her to court, you know. And it's not right. I don't like it. Of course, never put your hand on a woman. But at the same time, it's bogus and it's jacked up for these women to be putting these men in these situations, knowing that they have money and knowing that, hey, this is the paycheck. This is the easy way to get a paycheck. That's jacked up. And something's got to be done about it. Something's got to be done about it. I'm sick of it because there's nothing to be playing with. You know what I'm saying? This some real stuff right here. But you lying and you coming in trying to get what you can, but then when you get taken to court, you drop the case. Or it comes out that you lying. That's what's on my mind, y'all.
I already know what needs to be done. They need to prosecute the women that made the false allegations.
Yes.
Right along with, the big situation in, America that's going on now. There's a lot of white people are calling police on black people for no reason, and they have to, something happens. What needs to happen is the people that are doing that, calling the police for that, and it's actually a law. It's actually a charge for doing that, for doing those type of things, and I mean that's just flat out what needs to happen. If you make a false claim on someone and things like that, then you need to go to jail.
Yeah,
you trying to put them in jail. You trying to have them in a bad situation. Then that's what you need to
locked
do.
Up. And they need to make an example out of these women, because like I said, you got these women that are being, beat up or dealing with any type of, whether it's, domestic violence, whether they're hitting them or yelling at them, screaming, is not good. But then again, you deal with you hear a situation like this, and and it's funny because I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go quickly. So we had Rashad, God, I can't think of his name, defensive tackle for the Falcons. Rashid Hageman. I'm sorry, Rashid. My bad, Rashid. And Rashid came on, and he had, I gave him a chance to, kind of clear his name, and he talked about it, and he eventually said he admitted he was wrong. He put himself in a bad situation, but he kept trying to say that what he didn't do. And at first I was like, man, you shouldn't do that, because just go ahead, because women didn't like it. But now you hear that what if he didn't do it? You know what I'm saying? What is he supposed to do? What is he supposed to say? This is jacked up. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, I think women should be upset as well, because now
ones that it do happen to.
Ones it do happen to, because what if it happens and now because we've seen it where it came out as they're lying, and now all of a sudden we don't pay attention to it, or it doesn't get as much attention as it should get.
Yeah,
I'm just saying.
That's just what.
Go
happens.
ahead, man. My bad for taking your time.
No, it's
bro.
all good. That was a good topic to even speak on, to go further on. So what's on my mind this cloudy Saturday morning is, as we all know, sports betting across the country has been legalized. It's depending on what the state is going to do, things of that magnitude. I'm sure some thought about it, but I want to take it a little further and go into the NCAA. And what I mean by that is, so now everybody is going to make money off of the student athlete, except the student athlete. And I know that, it's a lot of things going on. I'm not sure if a lot of people saw it, but Wendell Carter, who he's leaving Duke this year. He's expected to be a top 10 pick. His mother, spoke at an NCAA meeting, to say she actually used to be a NCAA athlete. She spoke on how, you said they're getting an education, but if some of them come for 1 year, they're not getting ready for, no one is teaching them, life skills and things of that magnitude. So, back to my original point, so everybody's going to get paid except these NCAA athletes. So we know the schools make millions, depending on what school it is. They can definitely do billions of money off of these students. But once the student is done, they hopefully go pro. But let's say they don't go pro, they're living their life. So to be a student athlete, as I know many, it's hard. You have to do study halls. You have to figure out how you're still going to do your homework, still go to class, and still be an athlete, especially being a top tier athlete. Now I know some with the one and done rule, after February or after March Madness, they're pretty much done with school. But let's talk about the ones that stay 3-4 years just getting an education and also, going on to getting their degree and things of that magnitude. They work really hard, but yet they're struggling. I'll never forget Jalen Rose speaks on when he went to Michigan. He's walking past a store and he's seeing all the jerseys with his names on it. They're seeing all the T-shirts with the Fab Five. But yeah, he don't even have money in his pocket for him to get lunch. But the school got the cash. The school got the bag. They got the money for them to do anything that they want to do. So again, it's not nothing even really to get deep on. I know, and again, they're working on it. They're trying to figure out what they're going to do, how they're going to do it. And I think it definitely needs to be figured out, because I don't think that a school like Alabama that has a top tier football team, I don't think that the track team should get the same stipend that the football team should get, because the football team should get, because the football is bringing in the money. I think it should be divvied up depending on what brings the money in, whether it's for that year or the previous year. You can figure out some type of way to break it down. But the most important thing is, and I'm going to get back to it, is that sports betting is legal now. And we're going to be making money off these NCAA players. And they eating ramen noodles.
Right.
That's what's on my mind.
It's jacked up, man. That's what it is. It's bogus.
It's sick, man. Bogus, it's sick. Jalen Rose, even when he was when they kicked in the door, he was in the the drug house or whatever. He wasn't there because he was selling drugs. He was trying to eat. He was trying to, you know what I mean? Like, dude, it's so first beyond that, it's hard enough being a college student, right?
Right.
It's hard enough being just a regular college student. You can't eat. You can't. You're trying to figure out what's the next move. You know what I mean?
And they making money. It's crazy, man.
Hey, it's ugly out here, but
that's crazy. Look, we're gonna take a quick break. Great topics to discuss, and we'll be right back.
You're tuned into WWE AM 1100.
The opinions expressed during the sponsored programs on this station are strictly those of the program hosts, guests, and callers, and are not necessarily those of Beasley Broadcast Group, this station, its staff, other advertisers, or agencies.
Come to the Georgia Renaissance Festival, where you'll see
Robin Hood, a Mary Queen, boards of swords and juggling, men in tights who like to fight with sharp things in their hands.
Yeah.
Clothing, jewelry, pottery, it's like you've won the lottery. Stop on by.
Why not hurry?
For fun and food and drink.
I'm matey. This weekend is Pirate Splendor Weekend at the Georgia Renaissance Festival. Sing sea shanties and hoist a mug of ale in the all-new pub. Get discount tickets at select Sam's Clubs and at GARenfest.com. Arr!
What's going on, world? This your boy Vincent J, a.k.a. the Fantasy Guru. And do you know what time it is? Do you know what time it is? It's time for the Stop It segment, right here on the 3 Point Conversion Sports Lounge.
No mercy. Don't let up on him. Go hard on him, Mr. Controversy. Hit him with the stop it button.
All right, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. I want to thank everyone who is listening live right now, whether it's through 1100 AM on the radio, TuneIn app, iHeartRadio, Radio Now, or even watching on the Facebook Live, man. We appreciate you all for tuning in and supporting us. Yeah, we definitely
appreciate you.
And I also want to give a special shout out to my man, Mason Omar's son is getting his haircut right now. Heard he is a little rascal. 7 years old inside Cindy Cuts Barbershop. What up, man? Shout out to you, sir. This is your day. You on the radio? Tell mama you made it.
Shout out, shouty.
All right, so now it is time for the most infamous, the most famous Stop It segment. Let's get it.
Yeah.
Stop it. 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 Stop it.
Yes. S-T-O-P, new word, I-T. Stop it.
Stop it. Get some help.
As I throw the no look to Dennis.
Hey, take it off. Yeah. No. I know we in the home of the music. Everybody a rapper.
Right,
yeah,
right.
I'm not. Stop it. So we kind of spoke on it a little bit, but my stop it actually is going to like a lot of NBA fans and even Cleveland haters. So I'm not really a big Cleveland fan, right? But this stop it is for all the people that think the Eastern Conference Finals is pretty much wrapped up. So that's a big thing with me, right? First off, the playoffs don't start until a home team loses a game.
Right.
So you guys need to really work on that. Boston, now don't get it twisted. I'm not taking nothing away from Boston because I think that Boston may win the series. They're the most talented team. All that, right? But they went home and won the 2 games that they supposed to win. Now, if Cleveland come home and do what they're supposed to do, win in a whole nother series. So just saying that the series is over, man, I got to get a stop it for that because I think the series is going to get interesting come tonight. They win, if Boston win tonight, then y'all got something to stand on. But a 2-0 series lead when they played 2 games at home, yeah, nah, I'll get a stop it for that, yo.
Stop it. Okay, I was about to say, we need to give G a stop it. But no, hey, I agree with you, man. That's like, what I've been saying. Like, man, it's too much basketball.
Playoffs don't start until a home team lose a game.
Stop it. Or at least the series don't start. Yeah, the
series don't start. I'm sorry.
Yeah, no,
like Golden State and Houston, that's a series. Like, it's game time. You know what I'm saying?
Well, I'm going to get into that. I'm going to give my 3 cents on that when we get to the basketball because you're definitely right, man. I'm tired of that. So, my stop it moment goes to Mr. Lucas Glover. So, former U.S. Open champion Lucas Glover, apparently his wife called 911 and was complaining about Glover's mother. Something was going on. She was complaining. So she hung up, and then the phone rang again, 911 called. He answered the phone and said, no, she's lying. And he started singing like a canary. So he said that she was yelling at him and calling him loser early in the day when he shot a 78 and missed a 54-hole cut at the Players' Championship. So he said what she did, and it was domestic violence and all of that. And she got arrested.
Stop it. Stop it. Stop it.
So let me say this. So
Stop it.
I just got done talking about domestic violence and how women a lying, and women lie sometimes. It's how it messes everything up. Even for the women that's really getting, hit on or yelled at or whatever.
Right.
But boy, you a grown man and you basically calling 911 or telling 911 that your lady is yelling at you.
Is she just yelling at him or did she put hands on him?
It don't. She said
it do matter. If you put hands on me, I'm calling the police too.
No.
You know why? Because if you do anything, guess what's gonna happen when the police get there?
But listen, what I'm saying is though,
men domestic violence is real.
No, it is
real with me.
But it is. Right. But look, see. But I'm saying you a grown man, and you calling and you talking about she yells at you and she yells.
I just say,
come
get
on,
up
bro.
out that jam, man. Leave, right?
Leave,
on,
but
bro. Go play some golf.
What was she yelling at him about?
Because he shot
he
a
a loser.
78. He shot a 78 and missed the 50.
Yeah, she got mad and Buster. You didn't.
So what it sound like to me, she didn't put hands on him, but he knew he sucked that day, and he came home and his wife was like, "You suck, dude.
Hey,
you was horrible."
What I always say, G, he had a lump in his throat, and if you swallow that lump, you gonna cry. So so he was
about to cry.
What you doing?
So again, not to take away nothing from domestic violence. Absolutely, it's real. There's men domestic violence that get out here and they get beat up by their woman. So again, I'm being serious with that. It is guys out here that go through domestic violence. You should leave too. Leave. If you're being abused, leave. Leave the relationship if you're being abused. You really should. I'm being for real with that. As funny as it may sound, it is real, and that is the truth. However, if you come home and you just shot a 78 and your wife told you suck, man, you better. That's why you married her, because she 100 with you and told you what the business was. She told you it was garbage today, and you need to live with that.
You crying like a little. Anyway.
So what you gonna do now? You gonna get a divorce?
What you gonna do?
You to call the police on your old lady.
Man, we taking a quick break, man. Stop talking about the sucker. We're gonna. That's what sucker-free life is about. Being sucker-free. Anyway, we're gonna take a quick break, man. We'll be right back.
Let me break down to y'all what's so dope about the three-point conversion. First of all, everybody is a fan of the game first. Second of all, everybody is a student of the game second. And third of all, we're the average sports fan just like everybody else. We're not coming in here walking with our nose tipped high, acting snooty, acting brand new. This is a grassroots organization. Bar none. The three-point conversion, where fans' opinions matter. Be sure to visit the website www.the3pointconversion.com. Get your fix, get your articles, multimedia, and everything else that you, as a sports fan, need. So again, the3pointconversion.com. It's where it's at, man, where fans' opinions matter.
Tune your radio.
Tune in
Now.
You can tune into this radio station on any smartphone or tablet.
iPhone,
Android,
BlackBerry,
Nokia,
Samsung,
Windows phones,
or whatever you have. Download the free TuneIn app from your phone or tablet's app store.
Tune in with music, sports, news, and comedy.
From over 70,000 radio stations around the world, including this Beasley Broadcast Group station. Check it out at TuneIn.com.
Or your app store.
You're back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge with Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Mr. Controversy with The Intellectual.
We in here.
You know, it's funny. I can't believe I want to do this. You know, how people be trying to text you during the show. Come on, bro.
In a minute.
Trying to mess me up. I'm just messing. Yo, so what you got going on this weekend, man?
Nothing. It's a chill weekend, man. It's gonna be rainy. You know, me some Harold's.
Man, that sounds good.
Yeah, sorry for you. They got shrimp though.
Oh, I eat fish and shrimp, bro. I'll be tearing that up. That's what I eat.
That catfish over there they got. Why? That
Oh,
catfish
yeah.
and shrimp combo. Why?
Yeah, man. I suppose
the Funk Fest today too.
Yeah, I'm supposed to hit that up.
Nas and
yeah, I'm hitting that
Lil'
up
Kim,
today, but
Bilal,
man,
Young
it's gonna
Bloods. It's gonna be It's gonna be.
Yeah,
it's rainy, and
It's
isn't
rainy.
it an outside
Yeah,
joint?
outside, so.
Yeah, that's why I was like, I wouldn't
hopefully
mind
the
doing
rain
it, but-
step back, man. It's supposed to be raining. I don't know if it's raining out right now, but you know, yeah. So, but anyway, it's time to talk about this NFL, man. And you know, the NFL season, OTA is about to start right now, and some have started. I think some have reported, but OTA is about to start. But what I wanted to talk about is last year there were 3 teams that took a major step up that I don't think none of us saw it coming like they did. And that is, number one, even the Philadelphia Eagles, and I'm not even speaking of them, but 3 teams that just, came out of nowhere and stepped up were the Jacksonville Jaguars. They made it to the AFC Championship. Was in the game. The Minnesota Vikings, they made it to the NFC Championship. They won the game for the first 3 minutes.
Yeah, for the first.
After that touchdown, right?
It was over.
Yeah, it was a wrap. Then the Los Angeles Rams, even though they didn't win their playoff game, but the big step that they made. And besides Jacksonville, well, Minnesota and Los Angeles, they both made some nice key acquisitions or acquired some, players that came in that will come in and should boost this team.
Jacksonville really couldn't because they used so much money last year.
Yeah, and I don't think they needed to anyway. I mean, but out of these 3 teams, which team do you see making that next step, or has the best chance to take that next step?
I'm going to say, like Jacksonville, just because defense, and they got Coughlin over there, and they're really, in my opinion, a quarterback away from really, making that noise, because I just don't trust Blake Bortles. You know what I mean?
Right.
Even the year he just had, it was good by Blake Bortles standards, but it really wasn't, good. But I like the fact that they got that running back, Fournette, and the defense is just stout. But the division that they're in, the conference that they're in, that's huge. But them Rams young.
Well, what you mean that is huge? You're saying the fact that that their conference is good?
Yeah, I mean not just that.
The South?
Not necessarily the conference, the whole.
Oh, the conference. You
division.
said conference.
Yeah, the
conference.
whole
My bad. I was thinking division. Right. Yeah,
like
yeah.
You going against.
But who in the AFC? The only team I can think of is New England. Like
Steelers.
You expect the Steelers to do something.
They beat the Steelers.
But you taking this off of
Right.
1 year of Jacksonville. We're talking about
also the Chiefs. Maybe things open up for them with them starting Mahomes.
Yeah, like you.
The Raiders.
Yeah.
Raiders.
Their
Stop
receiving
it.
forward.
Raiders sucked last year. That was the team that we thought was going to.
But you're basing it. So this is what you're doing, right? What did we do with the Raiders? And what happened the following year?
My point. So
I'm saying with
right.
Jacksonville.
But the thing is with the Raiders though, the reason why I can see Jacksonville, I'm not saying they could take this next step, but their defense, the Raiders' defense, are not as good and weren't as good as.
Right.
And then they have a running game. So As John Madden will always say, that's half the battle. That's 75%.
Break the game down, run the ball.
Yeah, and that's why they won. That's why they were good.
Right.
But I mean, you're right though. You're right. I don't think it's a lot of teams that you should be scared of right now in the AFC. I think Jacksonville is that team. It's Jacksonville, Pittsburgh, but of course we all know somebody's gonna step up.
Right.
So
You know it's gonna be a team. But who you expect to see in the end?
So who do you think?
If you thought about it, you'd say in the AFC Championship, you're gonna say New England and Jacksonville, or New England and Pittsburgh, or Pittsburgh and Jacksonville. Yeah, you probably not gonna say Pittsburgh. You're probably gonna say New England.
Right.
Anyway.
What you got, G?
As far as who's going to take that next step?
Yeah.
I think it would be I think Jacksonville is, with these three teams that you named, there's always something like holding each of them back. There is one thing.
Speak on it.
With Jacksonville, they signed Blake Bortles to an extension. But I've never trusted him.
But he played he played well
in Blake Bortles standards.
But still, it's good enough though.
It's not.
But like you said, who they gonna sign? They don't have money. Who was gonna?
So they
had to get what they,
I mean,
who's gonna sign Brett Favre?
I heard the rumor that they were going to trade for. I heard the rumor they're going to trade for Eli, and that would be like, we just need a veteran quarterback. But they stuck with Bortles, so they're leaning on him.
Even with that being said, he got what, 18 million, 19 million.
Right.
He got like a nice hunk of change.
And then with the Vikings, a lot of stuff has actually changed with them.
Uh-huh.
You have a new quarterback with Cousins. Jerick McKinnon's gone. Who knows how effective he will be coming off a torn ACL.
Right.
So who knows how good they're actually going to be, because their offense is going to look totally different than it did last year.
Mm-hmm.
And then with the Rams, has the rest of the league, will they catch up to Sean McVay?
Right.
And that was a huge jump. Like Jeff Fisher, he ruins quarterbacks. But
teams,
Sean McVay,
teams.
Well, especially quarterbacks. Especially quarterbacks.
Yeah, teams and quarterback, right.
Like Nick Foles was Super Bowl MVP, coached him.
Right.
Case Keenum was in the NFC Championship game, coached him.
Hey, wait.
Jared Goff was
Steve McNair is gone, rest in peace. But should if you look how he did Steve McNair, I thought he held him back. But
it was
should Vince,
he held McNair back?
Should Vince Young come out and
he should think about it?
Should he come out and sue Fisher for some money?
Hey, killing my career, costing me millions.
It's worth a shot.
Count. Right, run my
He
count.
got evidence.
It's worth a shot.
And the way lawsuits nowadays go, he might win.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with you too. Minnesota. So, it's one of them things where you're always like, it's Minnesota though. Like, yeah, they're gonna be 13-3, and then they're gonna look like, but they have all the pieces. They got a great defense. They have we got to think about, they lost their running back who was destroying the league in game 4.
Wait, excuse me. So you all can call in at 404-603-8770. Again, it's 404-603-8770 to give you 3 cents. No, you're right. I think Minnesota, like you said, it's a lot. All three of the teams you don't know, but I think LA. Mm-hmm. Yes, we know about Goff, what he's going to do, but now they just got Brandon Cooks. That was a big pickup. Now, Brandon's not like a beast like that, but clearly he's their best receiver right now. And if you already had your receivers working, and then you get Brandon Cooks, that's good. Do they still have the guy that came out of Clemson? He's garbage. Watkins? Yeah.
No,
I don't know. I think they traded him.
He went.
Watkins
just went to. He got.
Yeah, they traded him to the Chiefs.
Yeah,
okay.
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Boy, been traded more times than.
So he takes his place, and because Watkins didn't do anything.
How many teams he done played for in the last 2 years?
About 15. But he
just 2.
But
still, like he's been in the league 4 years and he's on his
13. Right.
Garbage. But I like Brandon Cooks. I like that addition. Then you get But then you get Dominic and Sue. Then you get the cornerback to lead.
Right. Yeah.
Then you get
that's stouting up.
What's the guy from Green Bay? Shields. I think it's Sam Shields, right?
Yeah.
Man, you already. Oh, then
And you got a dog in the backfield.
Then you got Peters.
Yeah. Yeah.
Come on.
True.
So then you got a dog in the backfield.
A dog.
You can't.
I'm talking
This
about a
team right
filthy
here
dog.
should be, because like we said, we talked about Jacksonville, right? And all of these teams were like that, honestly, except for St. Louis. They was more of air it out. But with Jacksonville and Minnesota, run the ball, play defense, take care of the ball. So with St. Louis,
L.A.
I mean, dang, I keep saying St. Louis or L.A., run the ball, play defense, but they can throw.
And they can throw the ball.
Now, with Cousins going to Minnesota,
they're gonna definitely
now
throw
they
it
can
more.
throw the ball.
Right, definitely.
It's just how much do you really want to put the ball in his hands like that? And not because he's not good, but I'm just saying to protect.
You just gave him $100 million guaranteed.
Yeah, you got to.
You better let him put the balls in his hand.
Man, you want to do it work though.
So what I definitely give the Rams too. I get them mad props to the ownership, the GM. Instead of them saying, we did good this year, we're gonna build through the draft. They went out and said, you know what? Our time now.
Right.
You know what I mean? They got to live, like you said. They got Ndamukong Suh. They like, hey, you know what? We can have a big window.
Mm-hmm.
We don't have to limit ourselves to, okay, we went, 13-3, 12-6, something like that. We don't have to limit ourselves to doing good right then. We can continue to, build every year. I get them props, man, and that's an exciting team to watch, man. And I just think what happened in the playoffs of the game, they was, a young team being there, just happy to be there.
So we're gonna bring it up. So we were talking off air, and we had a huge debate. I mean, we had the Charles Barkley, Shaquille O'Neal debate. If certain people didn't know us, they'd be like, oh, they're about to fight. So we were debating on Minnesota, and I agree with. So what he's saying is, and we've all said is, we don't trust Minnesota,
right?
Because Minnesota's that's all they always do. But I was telling him it's a different team. And because it's a different team, I think now Minnesota is one of the teams to beat besides Philadelphia in the NFC. And he was saying why. He's like, they always lose. And then he brought up Green Bay. He was saying he thinks Green Bay is better. I don't think so. I think Green Bay lost too much.
You got Aaron Rodgers.
Yeah,
anytime
it's Aaron and the Rodgers,
right?
In the Rodgers game,
but think about it. Aaron and the Rodgers, what they always do. Aaron and the Rodgers, they lose early in the playoffs.
But they always beat Minnesota.
No, they don't. Minnesota beats them.
Okay,
Minnesota beat them last year. That was the one team that could beat Green Bay was Minnesota.
You said last year, right?
Year before last, they beat Green Bay. They've always been a team.
Did they go further than Green Bay year before last?
No, because Green Bay. No, because I don't know, because Green Bay lost in the first round.
Minnesota last year making the playoffs is the first time in a few years that they made the playoffs.
Like 2 years, 2 or 3 years.
No, it may have been a little long, but even still, you can. It's just like with the Bears, right? When they play Green Bay, even though they're in the playoffs, just because they beat them, like that don't. What's happening?
No, I'm not saying that, but Minnesota got to the NFC Championship
last year. And
what I'm saying is, just I know G made the same point you made. You don't know because it's a different team with a quarterback, but I'm saying they only got better. They got better.
Right.
I don't see where they lost.
It's still Minnesota though, and I think that's
man. They got a great coach.
You got to prove it to me.
And I think they've been in the playoffs because they remember the year they won. They should have won when they lost to Seattle when dude missed the field goal. And did they get to the playoffs after that? Or I think the year
no,
they got in the year before that. I think when Green Bay lost to them on purpose because they didn't want the Bears to get in. Oh, that was a few years back. Remember when they played Lovey? The Bears were 10-6.
Yeah.
And the last game of the season, all Green Bay had to do was beat Minnesota, and the Bears was in, and Minnesota was out. And they let Minnesota win.
Yeah, Minnesota. That's when
Adrian Peterson broke that record.
Right. Okay.
Or I had 2,000 or something like that.
He broke 2,000 yards. He was like 9 yards short
from breaking the all-time record.
BS, man. But anyway, I just think, like I said, but honestly, the team that looks the scariest are the Rams. The team that I trust the most probably are the Jacksonville Jaguars because
defense trumps everything.
It's defense, run the ball, let Blake Bortles do. Now the only thing is
But
they
you
lost.
said Minnesota has a great D too. So why you can't believe in them the same way you believe in Jacksonville?
Well, I just think because
they'll go as far as Kirk Cousins will take
yeah,
them.
I think with
So you gonna believe in?
no, it's
You, Mr.
but like what you
Controversy,
just said though.
you gonna believe in Blake Bortles more than you gonna believe in?
No, but it's
I would go with.
But it's like you just said though. With Minnesota, they're going to try to rely on Kirk Cousins. I think it could work, but it's like the safer bet is have, play ball, run the ball, play defense, and let Blake Bortles not mess up. I mean, you see what it did. It got him all the way to got him all the way to the AFC Championship. And they were in the game and got cheated and should have beat New England. So, but that's why I say the safe bet. And like you said, you're not going to say, all right, we're going to do what we did last year with Kirk Cousins. No, because you pay him $100 million.
Yeah,
so I'm just saying the safest bet is to go with Jacksonville because that's what they're going to do. They're going to keep the same formula. But look, we're going to take a quick break and we will be right back.
Yo, what's up? This your boy Marcus Banks to the Big Three of the Ghost Ballers. You listening to the Sports Lounge with my main man, Mr. Controversy.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports,
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
entertainment,
Are you not entertained?
and other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
Sit back with me, the baseball antagonist. Pull up your favorite chair, grab a drink, and listen as Mr. Controversy helps us relax with his sports knowledge in the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, right here on the 3-Point Conversion Station.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Mr. Controversy, the intellectual.
Yeah.
G. Again, inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge, chilling.
You know it.
So, we didn't really dive into the NBA like we wanted to because Cat stole the show and Tibbs.
Took everything away.
But diving into it now.
Let's get it.
Gentlemen and callers, you call in again, 404-603-8770. You alluded to it earlier that Boston just did what they were supposed to do.
Mm-hmm. I think what's what the bigger thing is that people are looking at how they did it, right? They're not necessarily, it's 2-0, but they're like the first one was a blowout. The second one was, it wasn't a blowout, but it was just, what it was. That's how people are taking it. Man, that's basketball, man.
Yeah, I mean, it's
That's
just happened
basketball.
like that.
Perfect example is in the West. What Golden State did to Houston the first game?
Mm-hmm.
Beat them pretty handily, right? What happened that next game? They got ate up. They got the business.
And Houston didn't change anything.
And everybody kept trying to say that they did.
planned.
They didn't.
They did. They wanted them to.
They just hit those shots.
Yeah.
Right.
And I think a big thing that they did change, it wasn't offensively, it was defensively. It was, we're going to let Kevin Durant do his thing. Kevin Durant has 1 assist in 2 games.
Yeah. But wait, I want to go back to Boston, though.
Mm-hmm.
With Boston, I think this is my view on it. When you have role players that are young, and I've been saying this all, since the playoffs, before the playoffs. I think with Cleveland, you have a lot of young role players. You have some veterans. You have Tristan, which I don't think Tristan hadn't been playing badly. I mean, I think he's been playing pretty well. He's been trying to get rebounds and everything. You don't expect him to score, but you have Corver and you have J.R. Smith. So, but yet still you have Rodney Hood, Clarkson.
Rodney who?
Hood.
Exactly. Who? What are you averaging?
But look,
like
so
0.8.
What I'm saying is, on the road, you don't expect, whether they're young or old, you don't expect your reserves to play well. Those are for your superstars to play well. And LeBron played well. Game 1, he really didn't do that well, but Game 2, he played well. But Kevin Love,
he's played well.
Who, Kevin Love?
Yeah.
He's averaging like 20 and 12.
That's not good enough
and
right
he's
now.
shooting 50%.
But what I'm saying is that's not good enough. He needs.
They need more from beyond him. They need. They haven't been getting.
And to his defense, he can only do what LeBron is going to allow him. Meaning,
so
if he gives him the ball,
if
he don't give him the ball,
because what I'm saying, you expect your reserve not to play well at home. I mean, on the road, but at home they play well. They have a crowd behind them. They're sleeping well, whatever, no distractions. Whereas it's the same reason why Boston, even though they've been in games with Milwaukee just can't shoot. They let them in games. Right. Milwaukee had like a 20-point lead and let them back in the game. But with Boston, they're young, and some of them are reserves are starting. And when they go on the road, they don't play well as you think they should. Right. So it's going to come down to if Cleveland can steal, or whoever steals a game win, unless if Cleveland doesn't, then Boston has it. But Cleveland has to steal a game, of course. But I just don't think Cleveland's in trouble because the role players are going to play well, and the Boston role players won't play well because they haven't played well on a road all playoffs.
But see, the thing is in my opinion, I think Cleveland role players only play well against Toronto. I don't think they played that well in Indiana.
In a couple of games.
In a couple of
games. But there hasn't been that consistent performance from the role players. Like it's like if J.R. Smith doesn't hit one of his first 2 shots,
it's over.
He's done.
But he always do that. Done. I mean, so basically we expect him to start shooting behind the scores table, right, and hitting shots. Like, he always have that every 2 games. That's J.R.
But and they also have a lot of, and you heard Joel talk about this earlier. The way that Al Horford communicates on defense. Cleveland, you don't hear anything from them. There are so many lapses defensively from them to where I think it was a stat from either game 1 or 2 to where Boston had 42 uncontested shots and Cleveland had 11.
That's ridiculous. And Van Gundy said it with their communication. It's like they're an old couple who's tired of each other.
Who, Cleveland?
Yeah, they're smacking their lips at each other, rolling their eyes. Like, dude, like.
We have LA in the chat. He said Cleveland has no role players at all.
I agree with him. Rodney Hood in the Toronto series, he wouldn't get off the bench in the last few minutes because he didn't want to. He wanted to get in crunch time.
Right.
I remember Steven Jackson coming out saying, "You garbage. You garbage. That's why you didn't get in." And then you had the opportunity to get out there and try to do what you was going to do. You garbage. Like he this was on.
Yeah.
The channels. And it's a fact, dude. Like no, what The Rock used to say. Know your role.
Mm-hmm.
Tristan Thompson, he sit out for 4 games, 8 games straight. You put him in that 9th game, what he gonna do?
Right.
He gonna get you 10 rebounds. I guarantee you 10 rebounds. He might not do nothing else.
He was the one who, if it weren't really for a couple of key plays from Tristan Thompson, they lose that game 7 to the Pacers.
Right. But that's right. And I think that's why I say I think Corver, I think JR get off game 3. This is time to get off, JR, Corver, and I'm going to go on a limb. I think Rodney Hood going to come in and play well.
Cleveland's due for one of those games where they hit like somewhere between 19 and 22 3-pointers.
It's going to be a blowout.
Everybody's hitting.
And they win by 30.
LeBron hitting step back threes like he James Harden with him.
So speaking of James Harden.
Probably tonight.
Tonight.
Because if they go down 3-0, it's over.
Yeah, I don't think they're going
It's
out 3-0.
over. So I'm thinking tonight going to be one of them games where we like, dude. What I will say again towards that is I would not let Kyle Korver get started. When he gets started, it seemed like the whole team start doing something.
And that's what they need. But let's go to the Houston series. Now, what does – so I'll ask a question because I posted this question a few days ago on Facebook, and we got a lot of answers, a lot of different answers. And I asked Joe the same question. That's why I asked him. Facebook Live is your chance. Like I said, you all could call in.
Yeah.
Who do you think – who would you want to stop if you had to play, if you're Houston Rockets, if you're focusing on stopping someone, who is it?
I'm stopping Steph Curry.
Who do you say?
If I'm stopping someone on Houston?
No, on Golden State.
I would be more worried about Steph Curry because of their ball movement. A lot of times Steph Curry somehow ends up wide open.
Yep.
And secondly, I would say Klay Thompson.
See, I'll say Klay at first.
See, the reason I say Steph is because do you see what the crowd does when he hit them half court?
Oh, no, at home, right? No. At home, you're right.
And when
you're right at home, right?
And not just that, right? Because his jump shot gets going, then it starts opening up the lanes, and then when it starts opening up the lanes, now he's able to dish, and KD getting that wide open shot. Draymond driving to the hole, slashing to the hole to get that shot. Like when Steph going, man, them boys a different story.
No, you're right, and that's a good point at home. Man, that's a good point. I would say Klay, just because Klay is that guy, and this is his period. Klay is that guy that usually when he doesn't play well, they lose. Because when he gets going, I don't think we've ever seen anybody, maybe in NBA history, when they get going.
We saw him score 37
how many
in the
times
quarter.
has he done this?
Right.
He scored 30 in the quarter, like what, 3 times in his career? Like it's and the thing is he quietly does it. Like you don't know.
You look up, he got 45.
You like.
I didn't like their body language the other day when they lost to Houston. Like their communication on defense was bad. They were looking at each other. Like Houston had, Trevor Ariza went to the hole one time, and
I've never seen that before. I've never seen him drive to the basket before.
Dude, he went to the hole and he dunked, and it was 4 of the Houston Golden State players was almost at half court. It was like, dude, what's going on with y'all defense? That play was, I was like, I don't know.
But the thing, I guess, with game 2, the thing that stuck out to me is that Ariza had 19 points, and PJ Tucker shot 8 for 9, had 22 points.
Never happened in the game.
I think Golden State will be okay with
losing
that way.
Yep. If you could beat me 4 games like that, they taking their hats off and saying, hey, y'all did what y'all was supposed to do.
I don't see that happening again.
He scored that many times, I believe 5 times in his career or something.
Yeah, and that's like you said, that's not going to happen. But again, that's at home.
Right.
That's role players.
And take nothing away from PJ Tucker because he's a great role player and a great defender.
Yeah.
And he's tough, hard-nosed.
Right.
Give him his benefit of the doubt. But as far as you dropping 25 again.
They probably don't expect that, though. They don't.
Bro.
So I think what it is James Harden, Chris Paul, and then you got to say Eric Gordon.
That's who it is.
They have to go. But to me, the key guy, honestly, with that team that helps them is Juvenile. I mean, not Juvenile. I always call him Juvenile.
Gerald Green.
Gerald Green, because he's one of those guys can hit 4 or 5 baskets, and before you know it, he's got 15, and he's,
And then he also missed them first 3.
Right, he can too.
He missed them first 3, and it's over.
Well, no, he just keeps shooting. He's one of them guys.
You can tell he just came from the crib.
Right, he don't care. Right, he don't care. But with Harden and Chris Paul, they have to
Oh yeah, they got to.
They got to.
They
They got Chris Harden has to go for 40 something,
And Chris Paul did his thizzle.
but
the
Chris
other
Paul
day.
has to score 20 plus
and 10 plus assists.
8 or 10 assists.
Yeah.
But look, we're going to take a quick break. That wraps up our basketball talk. We're going to talk MLB. Robinson Cano. Is that it?
Yeah.
We'll be right back.
Tune your radio.
Tune in.
Now,
You can tune into this radio station on any smartphone or tablet.
iPhone,
Android,
BlackBerry,
Nokia,
Samsung,
Windows phones.
or whatever you have. Download the free TuneIn app from your phone or tablet's app store.
Tune in with music, sports, news, and comedy.
From over 70,000 radio stations around the world, including this Beasley Broadcast Group station. Check it out at tunein.com.
Or your app store.
What's up? This is Justin Gibbons, defensive back, Montreal Alouettes, and I'm just kicking back listening to that three-point conversion radio with my boy, Mr. Controversy.
You're back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge with Mr. Controversy and The Intellectual.
Yes, we are back inside the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. That man G is a beast. That's all I gotta say.
Monster.
But anyway,
Monster in the booth.
So, all right, man. Let's get to this MLB talk. First of all, you know we got to start off with the hometown Atlanta Braves, and they lost last night to the Miami Marlins. And why the Braves keep losing to the Marlins? But those young guys, you know, the averages have dipped down, which you expect. I mean, we didn't expect them to be hitting 340, but they still playing well, though, man.
Yeah, definitely.
Ronald Acuna hit that home run against the Cubs Tuesday night to take the lead. It was like, yeah, but right, but yeah, them boys are nice, man. I think now
people starting to take them serious.
Yeah, and then with the Mets going down,
dude,
it's theirs
center fielder.
Yeah, it's theirs to win, man. It's theirs to take or to lose, I should say. They have it. It's
toe being taken off.
Yeah, I know, right? Golly. But now let's talk about Robinson Cano. You know, he was suspended and suspended for 80 games. You know, the funny thing about baseball, we trip because we like, I mean, it's a lot because it's money. But we like, 80 games, but this is half the season. It's just like NFL, you know, you do something horrible, it's half the season. 5 games, 6 games.
But the NBA, you get 2 games for everything.
Yeah, you get 2 games for everything. I don't care what you do. 2 games.
Unless you go in the stands.
Unless you go in the stands, right.
It's going to cost you.
So, with Robinson Cano, his legacy.
It's over with.
You think it's over with?
Over with.
You think we're not forgiven now?
Over with. Anything that has anything to do with steroids, look at the haul. Look at the votes. It's slowly going up for Bonds. It's slowly going up for McGuire. But
that's why I say that. Do you think?
But look who you're talking about. You're talking about Bonds and McGuire.
So, but the difference. So let me ask you this. No, you're right. I'm not disputing that. But what I'm asking is, the way it is now, people are being tested throughout the season.
Right.
So now, at this point, either he got caught or slipping, or he got caught cheating. But either or, when he got tested beforehand, he didn't.
So even still with that, right?
Do you think? Is that saying that?
So my thing is, let's not say legacy. I mean, not focus on just legacy, right? I think he's going to go down as a great baseball player. I speak more so towards the haul.
That's what I'm saying. Even the haul,
that's huge,
yeah.
Right? They don't want that, right? And it's funny because his ex-teammate Teixeira recently came out and said he's not surprised.
Why?
He said he's not surprised because his assistant was named in the biogenesis thing years ago. He hung out with A-Rod and who was the other player? A-Rod and somebody else on the team that was linked
Who was
to it. I can't think of who did Teixeira say that he was.
But my thing is, okay, Teixeira, I know y'all not teammates anymore. Maybe you upset because
why do you do
why
that?
you gotta come out and
dude?
say that, man? Like, bruh, I know. Cano was throwing his hands up like, dang,
like,
dog,
gee, you gonna throw me under the bus? Yeah. Like, dude, say you ain't got no comment or something,
right?
dog.
Like, what was your point in saying that? But I mean, I just wonder now because of how it is. Ryan Braun?
If it was somebody who was named, were
Braun?
they all the Yankees at the time? It might have been like Pettit, who was also
it was somebody.
But I don't understand that. Like I said, these days you get tested, frequently, and if you don't get tested, I mean, if you don't get hit, or I don't want to say caught,
Melky Cabrera,
okay, good old Melky. If you don't get caught, or if you don't get found, tested for positive, drugs or use or whatever it is, why? So if you get caught just one time, what if it is a mistake? Why would
it's
we
a
say
masking agent that he's got caught with though? So you know what that means? That means maybe it didn't get found last time.
What I have here is that he took something called furosemide, which is a medication used to treat fluid buildup due to heart failure, liver scarring, or kidney disease.
So he shouldn't be playing football if he got he got heart failure. Baseball if he got heart failure, right?
And it can also be used to treat high blood pressure, but it is on the anti-doping agency list. So who knows how it was supposed to how I don't know how it helped him.
But what I'm saying though, for something like that, because we know Bonds allegedly, but we know Bonds and we knew Mark McGwire. All them jokers, we knew what they were doing. Gonzalez, like I said, Luis Gonzalez, you went 123.
So he accepted this suspension.
But my point is right, because he. But you saying if he took that, what Greg is saying, what G is saying is if he took that, and this is something that he was using to help something else, he hadn't got caught before, and now it get found. Okay, what if it's something that like football players do? A lot of them football players, they take some stuff and they don't know.
So what?
But you're right. It was. It can be used to mask other,
and that's the only time they suspend you is when they can prove that it's a masking agent. And the biggest thing is, what do they usually do? They come out with this apology. They appeal the suspension. He accepted it.
He did. He was like, that's the only thing.
You know what? He was probably like, if he probably just taking it again, and it's like, well, I apologize and I'm going to appeal the suspension. Okay, well, we're going to test you again.
Right. He probably was like, yeah, I'm accepted then. Don't worry about it.
Right. Because I did notice that. That was kind of like troubling when I saw it. I'm not going to lie. I forgot about that. Dude just handled it.
All right.
Too well.
I took something I wasn't supposed to. I apologize to the team and the fans.
Well, and he couldn't use the with a couple of football players. They couldn't use the excuse, I was in Mexico and I ate some bad beef.
Right. Yeah. No, this is for heart disease, dude. and so even let's go back to the Hall, right? There would have had to been. He wasn't a first ballot, right? Do you think he was the first ballot?
I don't know, dog. Rob Cano was a beast, dog.
Let's see, he's got.
Yeah, dog.
Career average 304.
That's the first ballot, dog.
305 home runs.
That's good.
Over 1,200 RBI.
Okay.
He's a beast.
Almost 1,200 runs scored.
He's a beast.
Yeah, that's
2,400 hits.
Yeah,
that's why the Yankees was upset.
He probably would have made it to 3,000 hits. He still has the ability to, because he's still young. He still got a lot of years on his contract, even with Seattle
Right.
still. So you figure he probably don't average 200 hits a year, but he could get to 3,000. So, okay, first ballot. But now you're not getting in.
I don't know, man.
See, it's one of these things, right? And this is how I felt about that whole steroids thing, right? And baseball is almost the only sport that says there's what goes into the hall is the type of person you are, right? They're this big because with me, right, Barry Bonds didn't break any rules. You see what I'm saying?
He didn't get caught breaking rules.
He was never caught.
He didn't get caught.
He was never caught.
Right.
Because at the it wasn't against baseball, right? They didn't catch him, right? So let's dig deep, right? You want to talk about moral because that's a moral thing, bad for the game. Let's talk about the guy Ty Cobb was.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's a lot of things, and that's what I'm saying.
But Robinson Cano is not that guy, though.
I'm not saying that.
But you know
what they're doing, voters now.
He is arrogant, though. They say he is kind of arrogant, but he's still cool.
But the voters don't want anything tied to steroids in there.
Man,
you could be a racist.
Voters,
you could be a racist. You could be a woman beater. You can do anything. You take steroids, though. You ain't coming up in here.
That's why I hate about them dudes don't play baseball. They don't know baseball. And
mind you, Barry Bonds would have been first ballot had he not ever took any steroids. You know why I always attribute to him taking steroids? Because Mark McGwire and Sammy Sosa had them battles for home runs, and Barry was on the sideline batting 300, hitting 30, 40-plus home runs, stealing bases, and getting RBIs. But guess where the sunlight was shining on? Sammy Sosa Cubs and St. Louis Cardinals Mark McGwire.
Then all of a sudden, after that,
it's all on him.
No, after that, Barry Bonds.
He blew up. You know what I'm saying?
Nice.
Neck looked like neck looked like a tree trunk.
So, and he's probably the only person that they called to the stand to come testify and then use a body function of his. Put his head as a way.
Yeah.
Because that dude, come on, dog.
He was. I can't even trip. Him and McGwire both. The bat looked like a toothpick in their hand.
But you know what? As big as his head is, I still don't think he got Jason Kidd's son. But anyway, that joker head used to cover the whole TV screen. Anyway, we're going to take a quick
break. Put Barry
break.
in the hall, man.
Yeah, put him in the hall. We'll be right back.
Have you been looking for a radio station that gives you sports?
I don't believe it! It's a touchdown!
Entertainment?
Are you not entertained?
And other special interest talk shows?
Well, isn't that special?
All on one app?
Yo, that's dope. What app is that?
It's the Real 1100 AM app for WWE. Grab it for free in your Google Play or Apple App Store today.
What's up? This is Anthony Hamilton, and you're listening to the 3-Point Conversion.
Yes, you know what this means. It is time to let you all go. But before we let you go, we have to give out some shout outs. And, of course, I got to shout out the big man upstairs. God Almighty, appreciate you. Thank God for this platform, man. I never take it for granted for me to come on. I'm on the radio and spill my guts, talk mess, talk nonsense, and have the people happy, excited, upset, mad at me, want to give me the stop it button. Just appreciate that. Then I got to thank my engineer, G. Appreciate you. You ain't gonna say it?
You're welcome.
I was waiting for yo.
Appreciate it, yo.
No. Man, it lost his voice for 3 weeks. It's coming back. Anyway, then I gotta thank my road dog, man, right beside me, Southside G from Chicago.
West Side.
Oh, well, you West Side. I'm joking.
West
Crazy.
Side. West
anyway,
Side
West Side
crazy.
G.
Tri-City.
Be intellectual.
Don't ever get it confused with the South and the West. You know
Whatever,
how we do.
dog.
Appreciate you. Most importantly, God giving us this opportunity. You, as always, the co-host, for the opportunity you have presented not only to me, but our whole squad, our whole gang. You making big things happen. Shout out to friends and family. Special shout out to Adriana. Dree, you graduate this Friday. Congratulations. We just appreciate y'all for always being here, listening to us, and commenting and calling in when y'all have the ability, man. Appreciate y'all.
Yes,
Thanks.
yes.
Shout out, G.
And want to definitely thank my family, my beautiful wife, children, cousins, uncles, parents, everybody. I appreciate you all for y'all support. And also I want to give a special shout out to my nieces, Dion and Danae Copeland, for graduating. You did it. Proud of you all. Uncle love you all. I know y'all not babies anymore, but I'm going to say it still. Uncle loves you all. So, also thank everybody who's been listening live. Thank our sponsor, Cindy Cuts Barbershop. Appreciate y'all. Y'all always supporting, doing big things. Appreciate you, Dwayne Chambers, man, for your constant support, bruh. For real, man. Frank Holyfield, Chris, always want to be in the spotlight. G, what up, G? G just quiet, always getting in the camera when we doing the in the chair moment. B, Z, the barber. Dang, I don't know. The new guy that's there. What's up, man? I don't know your name, bro.
The new guy that's there. Yeah, thank you. Appreciate you, new guy.
The little homie that's sweeping up the barbershop. Then I got to thank LA Broaders for calling in. I got to thank my guest, Joe Cortez. I got to thank Derek Branch, Damian Adams, my whole 3-point conversion squad. Y'all doing big things. Appreciate y'all, man. Much love. Make sure y'all have a good weekend, great weekend. Check out sports. Eat good. Love on family. Let the family know that you love them. Appreciate this weather.
Appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Right. You get to chill like you said, but I'm going to be out here in the rain. But anyway, we're going to have a good time.
Nasty Nas.
Be over there juking.
Juking. Everybody don't know what that is.
Y'all know what juking is?
I know what juking is.
I'll be juking today. What up, Vince? But anyway, man, have a great weekend again. Next week, same time, same show, same crazy host, same sports nonsense, same sports lounge, same horse G.
Everything.
Until then, when you miss me, I'm out. Peace.
Peace.
You just got done listening to the 3-Point Conversion Sports Lounge. Be sure to follow us on our Instagram, Twitter, and Facebook accounts at The 3-Point Conversion. And also make sure you check out our website, the3pointconversion.com. Be sure to follow us live and listen every Saturday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern.